Hello, my name is Maciejko and I am the developer of WreckMP. Today I'm gonna show you how to get the most out of WreckMP, show you some tips and tricks, and answer some frequently asked questions. So let's go! Alright, so first off, what is WreckMP? WreckMP is a free My Summer Car multiplayer, which is a continuation of BRMP. A lot of you asked me like, what happened to BRMP? What is WreckMP? Is it the same? Is it something else? Well, WreckMP is the continuation of BRMP. Due to some disputes in the team, BRMP was cancelled, and I reused all my code for WreckMP, so that's why it sometimes looks similar and sometimes works similar. Of course, since WreckMP is a continuation of BRMP, it's more advanced, is more stable and has more features. You can support the project and get early access using the Patreon in the description. Now let's move on to how to minimize bugs when playing WreckMP. So the first and most important advice is be careful. Don't collide with items, don't drop items when they are colliding with something, etc. Like, if you're being careful and you make sure that when you drop an item it's not gonna cause a mess, then your playtime will be fine. But if you just don't care, like you drop an item when it's colliding with something, especially the Satsuma, then you can expect it to do a space program pretty soon. And that brings us to the second thing, which is to save often. Because even if you are careful, even if you pay attention, you can make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. So by saving often, if something goes horribly wrong, you can go back without losing so much progress than if you wouldn't really save often. Now by save often, I of course don't mean save every time you attach a part to Satsuma, but save every time you achieve something. Like, let's say you build an engine, go save. You build the chassis, go save. You go to the city, you arrive there, go save. Because if something messes up later in the city, you don't have to do the world trip to city again, right? You just load in the city and you have less progress to recreate. Now, this brings us to the third thing. If you can get over something, just do it in single player, right? Even if you are careful, even if you save often, sometimes there might just be some weird bug that happens only to you or a small amount of people, and I won't be able to fix it, right? I don't have a really good example right now, but let's just think of something like, let's say you want to go home from city to home, right? And something just breaks. Something just breaks on the way there, right? So instead of crying like, oh, I can't get home now because it's broken, just get in single player, drive home, right? Let's say that will work. Then you arrive home, save, and your friends can join again and you can continue playing, right? Now, that of course doesn't mean that everything that is not synced you should do in single player, right? Even if features are not synced, you can eventually do them in multiplayer, right? Because if a feature is not synced, just make everyone do it. Because that's essentially what the syncing is doing. If one person does something, then the sync does it for everyone else. But if the sync is not there, just get everyone to do it, right? And if that's not possible, at least the host should do it. Because only what host sees is important, right? When you save the game, only the thing that host sees is saved. What the clients see is like forgotten when you close the game, right? So if you can't do something, just make sure at least the host does it so that the progress is saved. Right, a good example of this is the sewage job, right? Let's say you and your friend go do the sewage job, right? So you pull up there with the Gifu, you go out. One of your friends takes off the lid, right? You see it, all good. Then the friend takes on the hose, but you don't see it. Why? Well, because it's not synced yet. So, one thing you could do is cry about that you can do sewage job in multiplayer. Or the second thing you could do is actually pull out the hose as well. Right. Then continue. Your friend puts it in. It's not synced because the hose is not synced, so you put the hose in as well. Then you go turn on the pump and that is synced and eventually then it works, right? So you just, the part that is not synced, you make sure that everyone does it and eventually it will work out. Heck, there were 2 streamers that managed to beat the game in January on BRMP when there was almost nothing synced, and they managed to beat it together. So why can't you just follow this simple step? If a feature is not synced, make everyone do it. Now, when we are talking about like only what host is important, then brings me to a fact that host should be the person with the best computer and connection. Because even though the game runs on all computers, like it's not with a dedicated server, it's peer-to-peer, right? So the game essentially runs on all computers, but the host handles the most job, the host sends out the most messages, right? So the person with the best connection and computer should be the host in order to have the best experience. Now, another thing that can really mess up your experience is using bad mods, right? If you don't use mods, sure, that's your opinion, you can use mods. But if you do, try to use minimal mods or use the supported mods. Especially avoid modern optimization plugin because it causes a lot of problems. But I will talk more about this later in the video. Just keep in mind, try to keep your mod list synchronized if you use mods. Now a thing that's not really a bug or a problem but can be really annoying is when you forget to take your sleeping bags, right? Whenever you join into game or someone joins into game, on the spot where he spawned, a sleeping bag spawns, which is essential for everyone to sleep, right? If you have like 2 players, sure, one can sleep in the bed, other can sleep in the car or something, but when you have like 10 people, there's not really enough spot to sleep, so that's why the sleeping bags are there. An advantage is you can sleep everywhere, but if you forget to take a sleeping bag, then you can really sleep because all people have to sleep in order to skip the time and fix your fatigue and things like that. So, but even sometimes you can forget to take it or something you can lose it or something. So don't worry, you don't have to restart. In worst case scenario, if you have only like 1 sleeping bag, if everyone leaves, then the host can sleep since there will be only 1 person left, so it will work fine. And then the host can go to a safe spot and reload the game, right? Because rejoining is not a good idea, right? Rejoining can sometimes cause things to not be really synced for you when you join in later. So if you just leave, the best thing is for the host to go save the game, restart it, and then as soon as the lobby starts, you join in, and when everyone is joined, then you can go do something, because this minimizes the desync a lot. Talking about desync, sometimes you can find yourself in a situation where your items are desynced or your cars are desynced. So WreckMP is optimized to only sync when it's necessary, and sometimes it can skip a sync. So that's how force syncing can help you. There's not much things you can really force sync, but some simple things can be force synced. For example, the items. Let's say for you the item is on the table, but for your friend the item is on the floor. So what do? Well, the simplest thing, one of you just take the item in your hand and move it, or just drop it immediately and it should sync. You just need to update the item to make it move, and then it will sync eventually. But when you do this, be careful, because if the item is like part of a car, like let's say some engine part, and for someone it's attached to the car and for someone it isn't, when the person for who the part is not attached grabs the part, it can really cause a mess, because the Satsuma will try to like move to his hand, and that is not really a thing you want to see. And another thing you can force sync is the position of your car. So let's say for your friend the car like drives away because it wasn't on handbrake, but for the car owner it for some reason does not. Well, the simplest thing you can do is just push the car, because that will again update the car and sync the car for everyone. With that being said, let's talk about the game modifications. Now, how do I know if a mod works with WreckMP? Well, first step to ensure a mod will work is to make sure that everyone has it installed, which is basically what I said before. Try to keep your mod list synchronized, because it will prevent problems. Then, if the mod is known to work with WreckMP, for example the V8 CACmet, or it has written in the download page that it works with WreckMP, then it probably works, right? But some mods can also be known to not work with WreckMP. For example, the modern optimization plugin the way it interacts with the game, it just breaks a lot of things, and it will probably never be resolved because the modern optimization plugin is not supported by its developer anymore. Then, any kind of cheat boxes can also cause troubles. There have been multiple reports of Satsuma flying away and similar problems even without interacting with the cheat box. So yes, some mods can cause troubles even by just having them installed. Then, grab anything, developer toolset, and similar mods can also cause troubles if used incorrectly. So if a mod is not known whether it works or does not with WreckMP, how can you know if your mod works? Well, you have to analyze the mod features. Like, some things are handled for custom mods by WreckMP automatically, such as syncing all physics items, including items you can grab, as long as they exist when the game loads. But a general rule of thumb, complex mods that add attachable parts or drivables will probably not sync by default. This will need some special syncing in the code, and you can know if those mods are synced by checking their download pages. But simple mods that add simple cosmetic items, map decorations, etc. will probably be synced with no problems. Alright, now let's go on to some frequently asked questions. So question number 1. Why is WreckMP not on your site anymore? Why is your site redirecting to Nexus? Well, due to security problems and overall responsibilities related to operating the site, the idea was cancelled. It was meant to be a small mod portal for well-made mods from My Summer Car or potentially My Winter Car or similar games, but the site operation and responsibilities are beyond single-person capabilities, so the idea was scrapped. Question number 2. Why is WreckMP so similar to WreckMP? Is WreckMP renamed to WreckMP? Well, as I said in the beginning of the video, WreckMP is a different project, which is in fact reusing all my work from WreckMP, which was most of it, so that's why it looks very similar. Question number 3. Is there a list of what mods work with WreckMP? No, there will probably never be such a list because it's hard to keep track of that. Question number 4. How do I know if a feature is synced or no? Well, join my Discord server, link in description, and go to the features list channel. You can see all features submitted by the community, and you can see whether it's synced in the beta version, or not synced yet. If you feel some feature is missing, go to the bot channel and write ! Is it synced? Space, and now write the feature you want to know about. Please make sure to write it briefly, otherwise it will be rejected. And the last question, I found a bug, what should I do? Or WreckMP is not working properly, help me. Well, first check the installation guide, which also includes common mistakes. And if that doesn't fix your problem, then join my Discord server, go to the bug reports channel and make a bug report there. Thank you for watching to the end. If this video helped you, please make sure to like this video. And if you want more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe. Also check out the official WreckMP episodes, as episode 3 will be coming out soon. Have a nice day and see you later.